Imagine two employees on the verge of quitting. Maya, a millennial, thinks the pay is great, but the work feels empty. I need a company with a real mission. A few desks over, Leo from Gen Z thinks my boss is cool, but the company's values don't match mine. They were silent on Pride Month and their environmental impact is a joke. Can I work here? What makes you stay at a job? Is it the salary, the title, or is it something deeper? The answer is changing fast, and it's rewriting the rules of talent retention. Want to keep up with the 7 trends these two generations are creating? You're in the right place. Don't miss a single insight into the future of work. Hit that subscribe button now and let's get into it. The purpose-driven generations. For decades, the deal was simple. You trade your time for a paycheck. It was a clean transactional relationship, but for millennials and now even more so for Gen Z, that deal has been rewritten. The contract now has a new non-negotiable clause purpose. Millennials were the first to get this reputation, often called the purpose generation. They entered the workforce wanting their jobs to be more than just a 9-to-5 grind. They wanted meaningful work that provided personal satisfaction. Gen Z has taken this sentiment and amplified it. For them, work is not just something they do, it's a core part of their identity, an extension of their brand that must reflect their values. If you think this is just a fringe trend, the data tells a very different story. According to Deloitte's massive 2024 global survey, a staggering 86% of Gen Z and 89% of millennials say a sense of purpose is crucial to their job satisfaction and overall well-being. That's nearly 9 out of 10 young employees. But this isn't about entitlement. It's a deeply pragmatic response to the world they've inherited. These are generations shaped by profound instability, the 2008 financial meltdown, mounting climate anxiety, and a global pandemic. They've watched traditional pillars of success like lifelong job security crumble. When you can no longer count on a company for a gold watch and a pension, you start demanding a different kind of compensation, one that's paid in fulfillment. Purpose becomes a source of stability in an unstable world. 2. Personal values and corporate culture. This demand for purpose has evolved into something much more specific, a rigorous ethical audit of potential employers. Today's job interview is a two-way street. While a hiring manager is asking about skills and experience, Gen Z and millennial candidates are quietly running a background check on the company's soul. They are asking a new set of questions that go far beyond the job description. Does this company make the world a better place? What is its real tangible stance on environmental sustainability? How diverse and inclusive is its leadership team? Does it speak up on social justice issues, or does it stay silent when it matters? And they are voting with their feet. The 2024 Deloitte data is a massive wake-up call for any business leader who thinks culture is a soft metric. It found that 44% of Gen Z and 40% of millennials have rejected an employer simply because the company's ethics did not align with their values. Nearly half of your potential young talent pool is willing to walk away before they even start if they don't like what they see. This is amplified by what McKinsey calls Gen Z's search for truth. As true digital natives, they are masters of cross-referencing information. They will compare your glossy corporate social responsibility report with news articles about your supply chain. They'll check your inclusive marketing campaigns against the diversity stats of your executive board on LinkedIn. Any hypocrisy will be found. In this transparent world, a company's values are no longer a private internal HR document. They are a public, critical component of its employer brand. 3. Subtle differences in priorities. Now, it's easy to lump these two generations together, but that's a mistake. While both prioritize purpose, how they define and evaluate it reveals a subtle but crucial difference. Think of it as the difference between admiring a beautiful architectural blueprint and inspecting the building's daily plumbing to make sure it works. Millennials who came of age during the explosive growth of tech giants were often captivated by the blueprint, the grand world-changing mission. They were inspired by companies that aim to organize the world's information or connect the entire world. They wanted to be part of a big, compelling story. Gen Z, on the other hand, takes that grand mission and immediately starts checking the plumbing. They are less impressed by the lofty statement and far more interested in the daily proof. They ask, Okay, you want to connect the world, but are your internal promotion practices equitable? You say you're green, but do you use sustainable materials in the office? You posted a rainbow logo for Pride Month, but did you also donate to LGBTQ plus causes? This is the authenticity test, and Gen Z has a finely tuned radar for failure. They have a deep allergy to what's known as purpose washing or performative activism, which they often see as more offensive than silence. This shift from mission to authenticity reflects a larger cultural evolution. Millennials grew up consuming corporate narratives. Gen Z grew up with user-generated content and instant fact-checking. They are not passive consumers of a brand's story. They are active critics. 4. Impact on recruitment and retention. So what does this all mean for the bottom line? It means that if your primary retention tools are still just a competitive salary and a good benefits package, you're fighting yesterday's war. For these generations, a high salary for meaningless or ethically conflicting work isn't a good deal. It's what you might call a soul tax. And it's a tax they are increasingly unwilling to pay. Let's tell a story about Company X, a fictionalized example based on very real events. Picture a fast-growing software company paying top-of-market salaries. But then a group of young developers discovers that a key component of their product is sourced from a supplier with a terrible environmental record, a fact the company's green marketing ignores. At first, it's just whispers on Slack. Then an employee-led petition starts circulating. Management dismisses it as a minor issue. Within a month, 6 of their brightest Gen Z and Millennial engineers resign. They don't leave for a higher-paying competitor. They go to a smaller company with a transparent supply chain. This scenario is inspired by real-world collective actions like the employee walkouts at Amazon over its climate policies. It demonstrates that a significant ethical lapse is no longer just a PR problem. It is an operational business risk that can trigger a sudden coordinated exodus of your most valuable talent. Conversely, companies that get this right create an incredibly powerful retention magnet. Brands like Patagonia, with its mission to save our home planet, foster what researchers call psychological ownership. Employees don't just work for the company, they feel like the mission is their mission. This deep connection becomes a benefit that competitors often can't match, even with a bigger paycheck. 5. Meaning in daily work. At this point, you might be thinking, this is all great for nonprofits and B Corp, but can you find purpose in an accounting firm? The answer is a resounding yes. Purpose isn't just found in the macro mission of saving the world, it's also found in the micro impact of our daily work. The key is a concept that researchers call job crafting. It's the process of employees actively redesigning their jobs to make them more engaging and meaningful. It's not about waiting for a purpose to be handed to you, it's about building it yourself. There are 3 main ways to do it. First, there's task crafting. This is about changing what you do. It could be as simple as volunteering to mentor a new hire, which aligns with the value of helping others. Or it could mean asking to take the lead on a project that allows you to develop a skill you're passionate about, tapping into the powerful desire for learning and development. Second is relational crafting. This is about changing who you interact with. It means intentionally building supportive, energizing relationships with colleagues. It could also mean finding ways to connect more directly with the customers or end users who benefit from your work, transforming an abstract task into a human connection. And third, there's cognitive crafting. This is arguably the most powerful, and it's about changing how you think about your work. It's the art of reframing your tasks to connect them to a larger purpose. An accountant isn't just crunching numbers. She is ensuring the financial stability that allows all her colleagues to provide for their families. This reframing connects your daily actions to a meaningful outcome, no matter your job title. The responsibility for a meaningful job is shared. Individuals have immense power to craft meaning right where they are. 6. Advice for businesses, the Purpose Playbook. So you're a leader or an HR professional and you're ready to act. You want to build a culture that doesn't just attract this talent, but makes them want to stay and thrive. Where do you start? Here's the 4-step GenShift Purpose Playbook. Step 1, define and communicate your why authentically. Your purpose cannot be a generic slogan from a marketing meeting. It needs to be real, rooted in your company's history and core operations. Ask the hard question. Why do we exist beyond making a profit? Once you have an honest answer, communicate it relentlessly. Talk about it in all-hands meetings, weave it into performance reviews, and celebrate it on internal channels. Step 2, create avenues for impact. Purpose feels abstract until you give employees a way to act on it. Give them skin in the game. This could mean offering paid time off for volunteering like Salesforce does with its 1-1-1 model. It could mean launching company-sponsored social impact projects or even allowing 20% time for employees to work on passion projects, a model famously used by Google. These initiatives give employees a tangible way to live the company's values. Step 3, recognize and reward what matters. Your recognition systems send the loudest signal about what your culture truly values. So expand your definition of success. Don't just celebrate the person who closed the biggest deal. Celebrate the employee who mentored a struggling teammate. Recognize the person who proposed a brilliant idea to reduce office waste. When you publicly reward value-aligned behavior, you reinforce the culture you want to build. Step 4, listen, adapt, and co-create. The purpose isn't a static monument, it's a living garden that needs tending. Create formal feedback loops to understand what your employees care about, hold town halls or anonymous surveys asking what values are most important to them, and this is the critical part when they tell you act on it. If they want the company to reduce its plastic use, launch a committee and give it a budget. This shows you're not just listening, you're inviting them to co-create the culture alongside you. 7, advice for individuals, your career compass. Now let's flip the script. If you're a millennial or Gen Z employee feeling adrift, disconnected, or unfulfilled, you have more power than you think. It's time to stop waiting for the perfect job to find you and start building your career compass. First, define your non-negotiables. Before you even glance at a job description, you need to know what you stand for. What are your core values? Use a personal values assessment. There are many great free tools online to get crystal clear on your top 5 values. This list is your true north. Second, become a culture detective. When you're job hunting, put on your detective hat. Go deeper than the company's slick careers page. Read employee reviews on sites like Glassdoor. In the interview, ask pointed questions. Don't ask, what are your company values? Ask, can you give me a specific example of how your team lived your value of transparency this past quarter? Their answers or lack thereof will tell you everything. Third, craft your current role. If you're already in a job and feeling that disconnect your first move shouldn't necessarily be to the exit, try job crafting first. Schedule a conversation with your manager. Express your desire to contribute in a way that feels more aligned with your values. Ask to take on a project that excites you or find micro-purpose by focusing on how your work helps your teammates or customers. But if there's a fundamental unresolvable conflict, if the company's core business model violates your deepest principles, then it is okay to leave. Seeking a workplace that is worthy of your talent and your values is not quitting. It's a strategic and increasingly necessary career move. Conclusion. So what's the bottom line in this new world of work? While salary and benefits might get people in the door, they are no longer enough to keep them in the room. For Gen Z and Millennials, retention has become an affair of the heart, and the heart only stays where it finds meaning. This isn't a fleeting trend or a generational quirk. It is the future of talent management. We are witnessing the rise of a more conscious capitalism where the most resilient companies will be those that master the art of aligning profit with a genuine purpose. They will do this not just because it's the right thing to do, but because the very talent they need to innovate and survive will demand nothing less. So what about your current company makes you want to stay long-term? Is it an amazing boss, a team that feels like family, or a mission that gets you fired up? Share it in the comments below your story. Could be the insight someone else needs. If you found this deep dive helpful, do us a favor and hit that like button. And make sure you're subscribed to GenShift so you don't miss our next episode where we'll tackle the future of workplace culture and how these values are about to become even more dominant.